I was diagnosed as a recessive Omega and became the rut partner of a notorious alpha CEO. He didn't know what I looked like. He didn't even know my name. So when I abruptly terminated our contract and went completely off the grid, I thought I was safe. I didn't expect a notorious, dominant alpha like Alexi Volkov to spend the next 5 months turning the entire city upside down, refusing every other Omega presented to him just to track me down. But while he was frantically searching for the missing recessive partner who used to quiet his brutal ruts, my own biology betrayed me. A sudden blazing heat shattered my old diagnosis and changed everything. I wasn't just a late bloomer hiding from a powerful alpha anymore. I was a true Omega, dripping with a sweet, undeniable scent, desperately trying to escape a man who had knotted me for years and now refused to let me go. I was on the brink of debt when a butler from a wealthy family contacted me, offering the contract. It was a generous offer of $1 million for every rut, plus a generous allowance every month, and for the months after the contract was over. A rut happens every 2 months, so it was basically a gold mine for any Omega. I declined it almost immediately. But when he brought up my sister's medical bills and all the debt I've racked up from loan sharks just to try to keep her alive, I gave in. It would take me a 1.5 years to even cover my debt and Lila's hospital bills. If I didn't accept this, those loan sharks would sell me to the black market. Recessive Omegas like me are rare, and therefore valuable as rut partners to wealthy people like Alexi Volkov, the newest CEO of the well-known Russian tech company in our city. He was rumored to be cold and strict, and he had never once taken an Omega as a partner. He preferred to work and keep to himself, focusing solely on his company. I was told to keep my identity hidden, making me wear masks that covered half my face so only my mouth was uncovered. The first few months were brutal. An alpha in a rut lasts a week, and the butler warned me that Alexi's would sometimes last even longer than that. But I guess I was satisfactory for him, unlike the ones before me. My sessions as his rut partner only lasted 3 days. For those 3 days, he would ravish me until I couldn't breathe, leaving me whispering and begging for a bit of rest. But he was insatiable. Because his rut only lasted 3 days with me as his partner, our contract was renewed and continued for 3 years. I was the longest partner he ever had, according to the butler. By the 2nd year, I was a bit concerned when he called out to me every month for his rut, when it was supposed to be every 2 months. Those months in between the 2 months, he was different, still insatiable, but I noticed he was more sensual. He would savor me instead of ravish me. He'd leave me with marks all over, and I noticed how he would sometimes try to nudge my mask away. I thought it was just because his mind was going crazy from the rut, so after the first time he did that, I made it my routine to use makeup glue to secure the mask to my face. He never knew my name, so my heart did somersaults when he would deliriously call me mine whenever we did it. By the 3rd year, I found out that I was slowly falling for him, despite my many attempts not to. I would leave immediately as soon as I realized the rut was over, gone before he even woke up. When he attempted to talk to me in between rests, I would sometimes slip and enjoy talking with him. But as soon as I caught myself laughing, I would stop and attempt to finish my job instead. It was hard, but I knew a recessive Omega like me could never really satisfy him. My weak scent, which, even for a recessive, is rare, could never be enough. I won't be able to give him children or be his true mate. I can only be his rut partner. So when I heard rumors that he was to be engaged to a famous, wealthy socialite, I called the butler and told him I won't be renewing my contract anymore. I've saved enough for me and my sister's life, especially now that she's recovering and I'm out of debt. And just in time, the contract was expiring tonight anyway, and I had just got home from Alexi's place. I held my hand, trying not to cry, when I remembered how he suddenly grabbed it when I was quietly leaving. I thought he was asleep. Is your rut not over? I'm sure I checked it. I mumbled softly, almost sweetly, when I sat back down on the bed again to check his forehead for any heat. My heartbeat became fast when I stared into his dark eyes that were staring back at me. Stay, he mumbled sleepily. He's done this before multiple times, and just like before, I would always say, maybe next time, Sir Alexi, and hurriedly leave. I laid on my bed, this small, cozy house we owned and had to sell when our parents died, which I was able to buy back because of my rut partner work. I held my heart, feeling it ache, knowing I won't be able to see him again or feel him against me, or even hear him ramble softly trying to make me talk back. God, I had really fallen for him. The next few months were torture. First, it was the butler. The first month, he tried convincing me every day to rethink my decision. The next month, he sent me gifts each week. Then by the third month, I changed my number and my post address to cut all contact. I don't know why. Didn't Alexi and that socialite's engagement and possible marriage happen by now? Or maybe next month is what I heard. And worse, I don't know if I was just craving Alexi, but I was slowly feeling heat and aroused each month. So bad I couldn't even get up for a week. When the 5th month came, I decided to go to the doctor. The news hit me like a truck. Ms. Garcia, you were misdiagnosed. You're actually not a recessive, just a late bloomer. I was given suppressants and told the common knowledge of staying away from alphas when in heat. The news made me happy. I can finally live like everyone else. Then I realized I can never truly be his rut partner anymore. With the amount of times he's nodded me, I was even nervous earlier when I took the pregnancy test. But the pain and disappointment of seeing the negative result made me cry out tears of frustration, realizing our ties are really severed now. When I entered the hospital my sister resides in, I passed by a familiar scent and turned to look, only to see Alexi. He was here. I almost went up to him instinctively, but stopped when I saw a girl approach him. She had a noticeable belly. My chest started to hurt. Is that why they want me to renew my contract? Was it dangerous for his partner to ease his rut when she's pregnant? I turned around and quickly left before I hurt myself anymore. Besides, he doesn't even know what I look like. It's been 5 months. Maybe they found a replacement by now. The thought hurts. But little did I know, Alexi was turning around furiously as I turned the corner. My scent had grown stronger, and he realized I was here. For 5 months, he had been working his butler to the bone to convince me to renew my contract. He even tried asking for my name, but because the butler found me through a broker, my name could not be found. She's here, he said to his cousin. He was merely helping his cousin with her prenatal checkup here. He didn't think he'd smell her sweet scent in this hospital. Why is she in a hospital? Is she okay? He thought, as he sent his cousin home and started trying to follow the faint scent of his ex-rut partner. He had been going crazy for 5 months. Luckily, he'd only had 2 ruts by then, and he rode it out by himself, refusing the other recessive Omegas presented to him. He only wanted her. God, he even faked having a rut between those 2 months just so he could have her every month. He had fallen completely in love in those 3 years. He slowly increased her allowance, sent gifts through his butler, and even tried to find out who she was. He didn't care that she was a recessive. All he wanted was her. He was growing frustrated. He had circled the hospital at least 4 times now. I whimpered, hiding inside a small old clinic room. The nurse and my friend, Polly, said that this room was basically a supply closet by now since it's never used. When we both realized I was going into heat, she quickly ran to buy me suppressants with my prescription, telling me to rest here since there was a bed anyway. The heat was insane, and I was certain my scent would seep out the door by now. When it opened, my head was hazy, my eyes blurry. "Polly, did you get it?" I panted. But when I felt a familiar warmth touch my cheek with trembling hands, I instinctively leaned into it. This scent. I squinted my eyes up at him. "Mine," I heard him whisper shakily. "Alexi," I hoarsely mumbled as his scent invaded me. "It's you," he whispered. I could faintly see him stare at me in awe, now that I don't have my face covered. "You're beautiful." Remembering his pregnant wife earlier, I was confused. "Are you in a rut?" I asked. Maybe he was being delirious again. He furrowed his eyebrows. "No, but you're in heat?" He was confused. He knew I was recessive. "I am," I panted, whimpering from the ache between my legs. "I'm a late bloomer," I panted out, leaning into his touch even more. How did You know it was me? Your scent. Why did you leave? He asked. I could see the veins on his arms. He was holding back. My scent must be smothering the alpha inside him. You should leave, I surged him. He seemed to flinch at that. You don't want me to help you? He asked, bewildered. Do you not want me? When I opened my closed eyes, he was now kneeling in front of me, cupping my face. But the picture of the pregnant girl with him earlier made me want to snap out of my delirious state. I'm in heat. If you don't leave, I might pounce on you, I said, gripping the bed. If I leave, another alpha might find you. It's okay, I whispered, panting. He seemed to flinch at that. Another alpha is okay? I'm not? He asked, bewildered. Yes, I'm not sleeping with a married man, Mr. Alexi, I almost shouted out, trying my best not to lose control. He froze at that. I sold my body to you as your rut partner, but I refuse to be a mistress. Leave, I whimpered. My body, and even my heart, was starting to hurt. But I'm not married, he whispered confusedly. I opened my eyes, wondering if I heard him correctly. In a split second, I heard the door click-lock, the curtains drawn, and then suddenly his lips were on mine. The next hour was a blur. All I know is I gave up resisting the moment those words left his lips. I don't know what I misunderstood. All I know is I want him now. By the end of it, I was panting alongside him. His hair was messy, a rare smile not leaving his lips. He marked me all over, and he kept chanting, mine, 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 like always. But the moment he asked my name, Elena, it never left his lips ever again. He kept whispering words of praise and love, just as he usually does. But this time I knew he wasn't in a rut, and that these weren't words spoken deliriously. He actually meant it. He never turned me around. He held my face with his hand, staring at me as if memorizing what I looked like now that it wasn't covered by a mask. You don't know how much I've missed this. Don't disappear ever again. I passed out when I finished intensely, but before I did, I felt it. The familiar feeling of him nodding inside me. When I finally opened my heavy eyelids, the faint smell of medicine and old supply closets was gone, replaced completely by the intoxicating, rich scent of cedarwood and dark chocolate. I blinked, realizing I was lying on a familiar king-sized bed. I gasped softly, sitting up, only to realize I was wearing one of his oversized silk shirts. My body felt completely clean, devoid of the sticky sweat from my intense heat, though a lingering, sweet ache remained between my thighs. The door opened softly, and Alexi walked in, carrying a tray of warm soup and water. He had discarded his corporate suit, wearing only casual sweatpants, his dark hair still damp and messy. The moment his dark eyes landed on me, they softened with a warmth I had always seen since the 2 years ago. You're awake, Elena, he murmured softly, his voice sending shivers straight down my spine. He set the tray on the nightstand and sat on the edge of the bed, immediately reaching out to cup my cheek, his thumb caressing the sensitive skin right near my collarbone, where his fresh, dark mating mark sat proudly. Alexi, I whispered, my voice hoarse. What happened? I took you home, he said, leaning down to press a soft, lingering kiss to my lips, savoring me just like those months in between. I cleaned you up after you passed out. You went through a lot. The memory of the hospital suddenly rushed back, and I looked down, my hands gripping the silk sheet. The girl at the hospital. She was pregnant. I thought... Alexi let out a soft, breathy chuckle, leaning his forehead against mine. The butler told me everything about the engagement rumors you heard. Elena, look at me. That girl is my cousin. I was only accompanying her to her checkup because her husband is deployed overseas. And the socialite? I rejected that merger months ago. There is no engagement. There never was. He grabbed my hand, kissing each of my knuckles fiercely. I faked my ruts just to see you every month, Elena. I sent you gifts. I tried to make you talk to me because I was losing my mind with love for you. The mask, your hidden name. None of it mattered. I only wanted you. I was never going to let anyone else have you. Tears spilled over my cheeks, but this time, they were tears of pure relief. I wrapped my arms around his neck, burying my face into his shoulder as he held me tightly, murmuring, "Mine, mine, mine," into my hair. The misunderstanding was finally gone. 2 weeks later, the morning sickness hit me like a wave. I stood in his luxurious bathroom, my hands trembling as I looked down at the plastic stick on the counter. 2 dark, bold lines. I was pregnant. When I showed it to Alexi, the feared, cold CEO of the city's biggest tech company completely broke down. He dropped to his knees, pressing his face against my stomach, weeping softly as his strong arms wrapped around my waist. He didn't waste a single moment. Within days, we were married in a private, breathtaking ceremony. He wanted the whole world to know I was his true mate, his wife. Things only got better from there. With Alexi's infinite resources and top-tier medical specialists, Lila finally made a full recovery. The day she was discharged from the hospital, Alexi insisted she move into our massive estate with us, ensuring she had her own wing of the house and everything she could ever need. But our quiet estate didn't stay quiet for very long. Now that I was a fully bloomed Omega and completely his, Alexi's self-control vanished completely. It didn't matter if we were in the hallway, his home office, or our bedroom. He simply couldn't keep his hands off me. He was utterly insatiable, worshipping my body every chance he got, savoring my sweet scent until we were both breathless and drowning in pleasure. Before our firstborn could even walk, I found myself staring at another positive pregnancy test, with Alexi already trailing hot, possessive kisses down my neck, murmuring about how beautiful I looked when I was carrying his children. It turned out we were going to need a lot more bedrooms in this big house, and for the first time in my life, my heart was completely full.